On today's segment is Andy Simon, corporate anthropologist, author, president and CEO of Simon Associates Management Consultants. Today's topic is Demography is Destiny. Thanks for being with us. All we hear about nowadays are millennials and how they have impact on everything, from car design to where you want to live. As a corporate anthropologist, what are you seeing?
Let me give you 3 illustrations. As a corporate anthropologist, we get inside companies to better understand some of the challenges they're facing. And there were 3 situations that I found particularly interesting where demography was destiny. And unless you paid attention to it, it was becoming a very overwhelming problem to solve. So in one situation, a customer care business, Telerex, which is a division of Merck, had us come in to help them rethink their whole strategy. One of the things that we saw on the incoming calls was that the average age of the person was over 50. So we were doing work with them to try and understand customer care, telephone service. They had excellent clients. What was happening? An aging population that used the telephone was very different than the Gen Ys who grew up digital and only text, even Gen X's text. The telephone wasn't the first thing they thought of to get care, it was among the last things. So what Telerex had to do was reinvent its business to provide a more integrated customer care solution, online and off, with more than just an 800 number. As you know, there's chat today, and there's frequently asked questions, and there's all systems of finding solutions. It's no longer just an 800 number. But they had to take that to their customers and tell them that the times were changing, demography is destiny, and we need to think across many demographics. One story. The second story is of an anesthesiology group that we worked with. There were boomers, Gen Xers, and Gen Ys. It was very interesting. Healthcare is struggling because the boomers are very dominant and the culture that they have is very powerful. This was a practice that was beginning to bring in young doctors, Gen Ys. The only problem was that they talked different languages. They may both be speaking English, but the meanings of their words were very different. And what happened with the poor folks in the middle, the Gen Xers, had to translate and build a continuity, a glue that held the place together, even though there were very different cultures operating. The meanings of the words were different, and how we bound together was very different and interesting. The third one was colleges. We work with colleges, we work a lot with colleges, and the faculty, who often are boomers, have a difficult time at times with the generation that's coming in. And in one case, one of the faculty said it so well, they've all been raised as soccer team players. They understand team sports. I come in and I want them to do independent study and they don't quite know how to do things alone. I haven't quite figured out how to be their soccer coach to help them do this. Now, companies may think this is all just incidental, anecdotal, idiosyncratic. But from an anthropological perspective, it's a reflection on the culture changes across the whole world, really, where young people come alive and are growing up differently than their parents and grandparents, culturally significant ways, and we need to start to pay good attention to them.
How does the traditional business adapt to changing demographics?
That's a good word. Traditional is very important here. Because in traditional businesses, assuming that people will come in and perform in a way that's understandable, don't quite understand that the behaviors are very different. People's work days are different. And so now we can either fight it or begin to think about this as a new evolving culture that they have to adapt to. I had one situation not long ago, and she was in a very high design company, really a fast growing one. And all of the Gen Ys who were coming in lasted 2 years and moved on. And then she brought in others who lasted 2 years and moved on. She needed continuity. So she can be a traditional business fighting it, or we started to talk about how to begin to adapt to it, to make it seem like that was good instead of bad, that brought in new ideas. You can change the judgment of this in a moment, because that's what culture allows you to do. It's very hard for it to continue in the fashion that it always has. And generations change. The generations that have grown up digital just see the world with new eyes. It's time for traditional business to do that as well.
Can you share a closing thought with us?
Demography is your destiny. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. The changes are coming. You can fight them or you can begin to adapt to them. And anthropology might help you see them and feel them and think about them in new ways before you have to go and do things.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. And be sure to watch our full video series on how corporate anthropology can help your business.
Audio Jungle.